Hello again. So let's continue our pendulum lab. I am so happy to be your partner. Okay, let's get going. To start this next part, so far we've filled out the templates in the brainstorm. We are going to design our experiment. To do this, you'll really want to have all of your pendulum materials ready. If you don't, go ahead and pause the video now and get your pendulum materials and then bring them back and we will start together. All right, do you have all your materials? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to talk about these questions. What material are you using for your pendulum's string? It's like, for example, I'm holding this up to my little screen in the corner, but I'm using yarn. So I would write in here that I am using yarn. Okay, and what are you using for the pendulum's bob? I'm using a Ziploc full of sugar. And I picked sugar because online I can type in what is the mass of a quarter cup of sugar and it'll tell me in grams. And so I'm all like, yeah, I liked that a lot. Okay, for part 3, where are you hanging your pendulum? All right, so you've got a lot of choices here. Where are you hanging your pendulum? I'm hanging it from a selfie ring light. But if you didn't see that video from the very orientation week, go ahead and check that out for some better ideas. The selfie ring light is not the best for this, but this is what I'm using because you can see it. And where are you hanging your pendulum? Okay, so right now go ahead and pause the video and answer those 3 questions. Excellent, excellent. Okay. The next 3 questions are going to help us as we design our experiment. So I'm going to make, let's see, length and angle. Okay, I'm going to make myself a little big so you can see. Maybe I can drag this. Oh, I can't drag it. Well, okay. So the first thing is that we want to figure out what is the maximum length that we can, our pendulum is before it starts to hit something. Okay, so here's my selfie ring light. You can see here. I use it for lighting and videos. I just look a little more friendly under the lights. I know we've gotten a little vain with the zooming and all of that. Okay. But I tie my pendulum to this, okay, and it's hanging here. So how long can I make my pendulum before it hits something? Well, the way I have this set up right now is the longest it can go is until it hits my desk. So you can see here, it hit my desk, right? Mog sees something swinging, he's going to come visit. Okay, that's not very good. Ideally, if you want to get the best results, and believe me, in the end, you'll be really excited if you can get results that are really good. Hi, Cat. I super love you. Can you say hi? Can you look at the camera? He's like, no. Say hi. No, he's just going to look irritated. Okay. It's the beginning of the semester, and the cats don't get it yet. They usually chill out in a few weeks. Okay. Having the longest length possible only be about 1.5 feet long isn't really good. You definitely want to be able to swing your pendulum quite a distance, okay? Ideally, what would be really good is if I could hang this over the side of my desk, and there I'd have about like 3-4 feet of length before it hit the floor. So right now what I'd like you to do is pause and kind of plan out where are you going to hang your pendulum so that you get a really good amount of length, and then measure the longest your pendulum can be, and that includes the bob before it hits the floor, and then use that to answer number 4. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, you got that? All right, I'm going to tie this here. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a little bit exciting, which is not my favorite. Okay, it already got exciting by breaking. Oh man. Okay, so I'm tying my pendulum, and what you'll want to do with me is tie your longest pendulum. Okay, so go ahead and while I'm messing around here, or maybe just pause, go ahead and tie your longest pendulum. Okay, and then we'll get back together once that's set up. Do you have your longest pendulum set up? Awesome, same here. Okay, but yours should be like 3 times longer than mine, right? You got that? Okay. So the next question is, what angle is the largest angle you can swing your pendulum at. Now, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with the pendulum. Okay, the first thing is that I can swing it so far that it breaks and wobbles, and like I have to, stuff like that starts to happen. So maybe only this far is a safe angle. Well, nothing's safe for my setup, but you'll have that to consider. Okay. Well, if I hold my setup down, that's pretty good. If I pull the angle like super far, like off screen, all of a sudden it starts hitting things, and that's not good either. So you want to figure out what angle is the largest but most safest angle for your long pendulum. Okay, for me, it's probably going to be something like this. That was pretty good. It didn't hit anything. It didn't go insane and chaotic. Okay, so play around with your pendulum. Figure out what your largest reasonable angle is for the long pendulum. Okay, pause and go ahead, do that now, and then write what that angle is for number 5. Okay, you got it? All right, now, why did we do that? The reason we did that was because now we are going to do several different lengths. And if you picked to test the angle, you're going to do several different angles. And what you want to do is a range. So like, for example, if I take my pendulum here, I want to choose 6, oops, I'm spoiling a number that's later, but 6 different lengths. And this is the longest and just evenly spaced out. Okay. Now, my shortest length, by the way, you got to be a little smart about that. Maybe your original shortest length would be too short, but you want to evenly kind of space out your lengths that you're going to test. And same with your angles, and same with whatever else you're going to test. So you want to figure out what your boundaries are, shortest, longest, and then space your tests in between. And that's why we answered those questions, so that now you can really figure out in a smart way and in an organized way what the best tests for you are. And they'll be different for everybody. I'll never forget, over the summer we did this, and the person who got the best results used Cheez-Its as their pendulum bob. I kid you not, Cheez-Its hanging from a ceiling fan. You never know. Okay, so part of the reason though that student did so well was they had really good range of things to test. So I just encourage you to, okay, that's why we did that. I'm going to shrink down now. Let's finish this section up. The last thing is, what are the correct units to use for your IVs? All right, so that's 6, 7, and 8. So let's say your first IV is like mine, it's length, meters. Those are the correct physics units for a length. What if you're measuring, I was talking about angle. What are the correct units for angles? I got good news for you. It's degrees. Okay, what are other units that we use a lot in physics? The proper units in physics will always be something like meters. If you're doing an area, meters squared. If you're doing a volume, meters cubed. Kilograms is if you're doing anything with mass, you'll use kilograms, not grams, kilograms. And seconds is the preferred unit for time. Okay, the last thing, questions to answer, and then I'll demonstrate what these questions mean. Oh, but first, pause, answer 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're ready for 9. How many trials are you going to run for each IV? Okay, for each IV, we're going to run 6 trials. So I'm going to write this detail in. Maybe you'll want to write it too, like, so 6 different lengths, 6 different, remember mine were lame, colors, 6 different volumes, okay? That's how many trials we're going to do, okay? And then how many repeats of each trial? We are going to do at least 2 repeats. Okay, so what I'd like you to do right now is to pause. Actually, let's just wrap up this video. We're going to wrap it up, and once it's over, you answer 9 and 10, and then we'll meet again for doing our actual experiments.